Game double tap, everyone. Welcome back again to Medieval Fantasy RPG Wizard's Choice. I know it's been a while since we played, but let's get into it and sink into our role. Thank you to MyNoise for the wonderful generator I've created. Last time we were sneaking in to get some important information and to recover some of the books that were taken from us. So we have an opportunity to do something here, which is climb away and crab walk away from these soldiers or thugs that are in this alley. So let me let you hear what's going on.
Volume. Speaking rate 100%. 60%. Words. Characters. Vertical headings. Night has fallen by the time you reach the district where Gorgon's gang is based. Mala did not know whether the Gorgon would be here or out elsewhere, up to some villainy. You wonder if it might be wise to come back here in the morning. If Gorgon is like the few thugs and thieves you've known, he is more likely to be asleep at home during the day. However, you dare not delay. Only a few seconds ago, you had a sudden feeling of exposure, as though you were suddenly naked in an empty room with eyes peering in at you. Was I spied upon? You wonder. The sooner you get that warded ring, the safer you will feel.
Alright, we've got to get that warded ring.
Boisterous voices of young men erupt ahead of you. This neighborhood is controlled by gangs who are particularly active at night. So far you have managed to avoid others by slipping from shadow to shadow and hiding behind refuse or in dark alleys. Unfortunately, the road you are on now is lined with tightly packed buildings and offers no suitable place to hide, despite being dimly lit and littered with garbage. What do? You can tell there are at least 3 of them. You have a spell that will allow you to climb up the wall like a spider. Even if they look up, they will not be able to follow. On the other hand, perhaps if you show that you are not afraid, they will think better than to bother you. After all, you could be anyone under that hood.
We have to decide what we want to do. Can we fool them? Or should we just climb up the wall and avoid them? I think for now, let's avoid them.
Spider climb spell. Mana 2. Button.
Okay, let's do the spider climb spell.
Spider climb spell. Mana 2. Life. 12. Mana. 5. Gold. 1. Morale. 9. Dim. Mana decreases 2.
Okay, using up a little bit of mana.
Morale increases 1.
Alright.
You whisper a few arcane words and press your hands against the wall of a building. Your hands seem to almost sink into the bricks. Without delay, you crawl up the side of the building like a spider as fast as you can. Just as you pull yourself over the top of the roof, the young men come around the corner. The lantern lights on the street do not reach up to you very well, and so you feel comfortable peering down at them. There are 3 men, and all of them are carrying weapons at the ready, as though they might engage in melee any moment. 2 have swords and 1 has a nasty-looking spiked club.
Now, as I recall last time, we lost, and that is why we restarted here from this save point. And as I said before, we would restart from our save point and to see if we can get through this story.
Gods, this is a tough neighborhood, you think to yourself. They are all engaged in some raucous conversation and none look up. After they have gone, you climb down and continue your search for Gorgon's lair, as Mala called it. After a few more close calls with gang patrols, you find what Mala described. The building is much like the others, which is to say old, dirty, and neglected. However, this one has a large blue door with the words "the law" carved into it. Suddenly, you have that naked feeling again and you shiver. I am being spied upon. Yuxul has found me, you think for a moment. Then you reassure yourself that it is only nerves. After all, you are standing in front of the door of a killer. You hear a rustle from behind and you spin around. Out from a large pile of trash emerges the head of a giant rat. Its red eyes fix upon you and it sniffs the air. Who be you? It asks in a raspy voice. Your hood is low and you suppose it cannot see your face. The thing stands up and you see that it has the body of a man with a long rat tail. Wereroot.jpg. Image.
Alright, we got a rat.
A wereroot, you realize with a shock. Mala warned you that Gorgon may employ monsters to guard his hideout. From what you understand, wereroots are more cunning than most people, and are fast and thoroughly evil. You notice the glint of steel in one of the wereroot's hands. You wonder if you could use an illusion on yourself to impersonate one of Gorgon's thugs. On the other hand, a charm spell might be simpler. Finally, you could just blast the rat with flames. You imagine rats don't like fire, not much does.
We won't have much magic left, but I do recall last time we tried to do some other fancy things and it beat us up. So we're just going to blast it with what little mana we have left.
What do? Burn it. Mana 4. Button.
Let's burn it.
Burn it. Mana 4. Life. 12. Mana. 1. Gold. 1. Morale. 12. Dim. Mana decreases 4.
Okay, you're using up mana.
Morale increases 3.
Alright. Awesome.
I am here to see Gorgon. You say it. I know the wereroot snap. I am here to see Gorgon. You say as you approach the rat. I know the wereroot snaps. Else be here? Now, who be ye? A friend. Can you let me in? The wereroot puts one furry hand on a key tied to his belt. I will cut your throat if ye don't answer me question plainly. I am. Ellipsis. You say the arcane words as you raise your hands. You approach You say the arcane words as you raise your hands. A fan of flames spring from your fingertips, engulfing both the rat and the heap of trash he is standing in. There is a high-pitched squeak as he falls, rolling to put out the flames of his burning fur, but the trash beneath him must consist of some flammable materials, for it is now on fire too. After a moment of panic, he manages to roll clear of the burning refuse. However, by this time he is completely covered in flames, and it is not long before he stops moving altogether. You approach carefully and give the rat a few stabs with your dagger for good measure. His burnt fur and skin smell dreadful. You cut the key from his belt and run to the door, unlock it, and slip inside. The hallway is lit with candles set on small inlays of the stone walls. You stop and listen. There are raised voices up ahead. You creep along the hallway, up to an open doorway. Inside, two men appear to be arguing in a language you do not understand. You can see them clearly, thanks to a large fire burning in a fireplace nearby. A naked, bound, and gagged man hangs by his long hair from the rafters above. The naked man is swinging back and forth like a pendulum, thanks to each man absently taking turns shoving him as they continue to argue. One of the arguing men fits Malice's description of Gorgon. Half of his bald head is disfigured by a terrible burn. Gorgon is a large man, wearing thick leather armor. A battle axe is leaning against the wall near him. The other man is muscular with a square face and a large, jutting chin. Now what? You wonder. Even if that feeling you had earlier was not from being spied upon, Yuxul should be able to find you soon. And then there is that dead werewolf out in the alley. How long before that's noticed? On the other hand, it would be nice if you could find an opportunity to confront Gorgon alone, and it might behoove you to wait.
Okay, we have to decide what we're going to do here.
What do you do? Wait and see. Button.
We can wait and see.
Impersonate werewolf. Mana 2. Button.
We can impersonate the rat. I don't think we have enough mana.
Blast them Mana 4. Button.
I don't think I have enough mana for that.
Blast them Mana 4. Wait and see. Button. The hallway is lit with candles. Heading not found. Now what? You want... The hallway is lit. You approach You say the arcane words as you raise your
Let's
hands.
see how much mana we have.
Medieval fantasy RPG. Back button. Boost your stats. Button. Show achievements. Boost your stats. Button.
Ooh, boost my stats. That's interesting.
Show achievements. Button. Change text size and color. Show game menu. Button. Go back to previous choices. Life. 12. Mana. 1. Gold. 1. Morale. 12. Dim. Game stats.
We don't have enough mana to do any of this stuff.
You approach carefully and give the rat a The hallway is lit with Now what? What do you do? Wait and see. Impersonate werewolf. Mana 2. Wait and see.
Let's
Button.
just wait and see. That's all we have the mana to do.
What do you... Wait and see. Button. Wait and see. Life. 12. Mana. 1. Gold. 1. Morale. 12. Dim. You decide to wait. Certainly, they will tire of this argument and go their separate ways, after which, you can take on Gorgon by himself.
I just think as a wizard, we just don't have a lot of choices.
The two drone on for some time, and just as you're about to do something about it, you hear a loud bang followed by the rush of boots from somewhere in the house. Gorgon grabs his battle axe and runs toward your hiding place. The other man runs to a door and leaves.
Uh-oh. Here's where we die.
You need that warded ring on Gorgon. It would appear it's now or never. What do? Spring out with your dagger. Button.
That's all we can do, really.
Lightning bolt. Mana 4. Button. Use firebolt. Mana 2. Button.
Yeah, next time we're going to have to leave some mana behind for this fight.
Use firebolt. Mana 2. Lightning. Spring out with your dagger.
Okay,
Button.
here goes nothing. Spring out with our dagger.
Spring out with your dagger. Life. 7. Mana. 1. Gold. 1. Morale. 15. Dim. Life decreases 5.
Ow. That hurt.
Morale increases 3.
Ooh.
You jump out of the shadows with your dagger. He is ready for a fight, but not from the direction you come at him from. So you are able to stab him in the neck before he lands a blow on you with his battle axe. However, he slashes right across the chest.
Ouch.
You step back, clutching the deep wound where he got you. Blood is pumping from his neck. He is losing strength fast. You retreat from his slashing battle axe, behind a table. A few seconds later, he collapses.
Well, at least we got him in the neck.
Without a moment to lose, you search Gorgon's hand for his warded copper ring, find it, and put it on. Next, you cut the rope double knotted to the naked man's long hair, and he falls to the floor. You then run to the door that the square-jawed man had run through, but the door is now locked. You are trapped. Into the room stream several city guards, 3 with swords drawn and 2 more with crossbows at the ready.
Uh-oh. Excuse me.
You hear more coming and you know that you are hopelessly outnumbered. You drop your dagger and surrender.
Well, I saved this dude.
The guards waste no time. They throw you on the ground, search your body and bind your hands behind your back. He is a murderous sorcerer. You had best gag him, one of the guards says. Why take a chance, says another, and he hits you in the head with the hilt of his sword. You wake on the cold stone floor of a cell. A balled-up rag has been shoved into your mouth and another strip is tied tightly around your head to keep the rag in place. Your hands have been tied behind your back and your legs bound together. After struggling in vain, you decide to make the best of a terrible situation and roll over to a pile of straw strewn over the far end of the cell. The straw smells of urine, but at least it's softer and warmer than lying on the stone. With nothing else to do, you go back to sleep.
All right, now we have to do our little prison encounter and decide if we're going to escape or just wait.
Continue. Button.
Okay, let's go. Continue.
Continue. Life, 11. Mana, 8. Gold, 1. Morale, 15.
We got our mana back up to 8.
Life increases 4.
Ooh, life went up. That's cool. Nice.
Mana increases 7.
Nice.
You are awakened at some point in the night by muffled, frightened shouts from somewhere in the dungeon. This is followed by gurgling and then, suddenly, nothing. What? It is beginning to rain. Drops. You are awakened at some point in the night by muffled, frightened shouts from somewhere in the dungeon. This is followed by gurgling and then, suddenly, nothing. What? What has gone on? You hear someone call in a trembling voice, presumably from another cell. There is no answer. It is beginning to rain. Drops of water come through the bars that overlook the street. There are wooden shutters on the inside to block the rain, but bound as you are, you cannot get up to shut them. An apple core lies on the floor nearby. Someone must have thrown it in through the bars earlier while you slept. Your stomach growls, but you leave the cast-off food. Eventually, you curl up on the straw and go back to sleep. When you next wake, sunshine is streaming through your barred window. Despite your disturbed and uncomfortable sleep, you feel somewhat refreshed. Now that you can see clearly, you look yourself over. You have been stripped down to your tunic and trousers. Your spellbook and gold is gone, as is the ring you took from Gorgon. Gorgon's charm won't help me now. Anyway, Asir is no longer required to find me. You reflect bitterly.
All right. We're now in the daytime. We've been stripped of all our items. Let's change the mood here a little bit.
App switcher. Medieval fan. MyNoise. Active. Distant thunder. Back button. Super generate. Distant thunder. Back button. Distant thunder. Favorites. Back button. Favorites. Ice World. Osmosis. Mr. Rogue. Dark Dungeon. Anamnesis. Marimbas. Default. Circuit bending. Neural Symphony. Underwater. Hydrogen 12. Dark Dungeon. Dark Forest. RPG Elements. Ominous. Medieval Village. The Scout theme music 1. Actions available. Aeolian Universe. Local bar. Arcade sound. Nightscape. Default. Sad Minstrel. Big. Cinematic Ease. From India. Favorite. Alpha Omega. Favorite. Phrygian Universe. Rain Lullaby. Default. Imaginary Reality. Medieval Library. Favorite on November 2nd. 55%. Adjustable. Sub-bass. Swipe up or down with one finger to adjust the value. App switcher. MyNoise. Medieval Fantasy RPG.
That makes much
Medieval
more
Fantasy
sense.
RPG.
Now we're in a quiet cell dealing with some new issues.
Boost your stats. Button. Mana increases 7. You are awakened at some point in the night by muffled, frightened shouts from somewhere in the dungeon. This is eventually, you curl up on the straw and, when you next wake, Gorgon's charm won't help me now. Your self-pity is interrupted by the sound of footfalls. For a moment you fear your time is up, but when the cell door opens it is not the executioner you see, but a beautiful woman. Finally, the gods smile upon me. The woman has long blonde hair that frames large blue eyes and a delicate nose, ellipsis, and a scar that runs from her jaw down her neck. The scar is faint and only noticeable because her skin is otherwise flawless. When you can finally pull your eyes from her face, you see that she is wearing armor and a gold-colored cape that is customarily worn by clerics of Elathia, the goddess of protection. Such clerics are holy warriors skilled with armor and weapons. In addition, they can appeal to their patron goddess for modest gifts of divine aid, similar in some ways to your own magical spells. A guard stands behind her and appears to be staring at her rear. As though aware of his gaze, she turns her head slightly and says, "Leave us, please." The guard frowns. "There lies a wizard, my lady. He may strike using no more than a thought." "Doubtful," she answers, nodding to him. The guard stands for a moment, bows, and then leaves. The cleric fixes her eyes on you. You try to smile, unsuccessfully, through the rag bound into your mouth. She chants a long prayer, all the while staring down at you as though weighing your soul. Upon finishing, she says, "I am Marisa, a second disciple of Elathia. I shall undo your gag now. You will behave?" You nod vigorously. With the gag finally out of your mouth, you breathe easier and thank her. "Can you stand?" she asks. "I hope so," you say. "I agreed to not unbind you, but I would rather speak to a man on his feet," she says. With that, she pulls you up and soon you are standing, leaning against the wall. "Your name is Anuxius," she asks. You nod. "Although, many call me Ghost." "Ghost," she repeats, thoughtfully. Just then, a whisper pushes down the hall. It sounds like a rapid string of words, but none that you recognize. Marisa clutches her mace and looks about, searching. WC2 Narissa.jpg. Image. The whisper dies as quickly as it arose. The two of you stand motionless, listening. Finally, you say, "Speaking of ghosts, ellipsis." You try to smile, but you're pretty sure it's a grimace. Narissa watches you carefully for a long moment and then says, "I am not sure you appreciate the gravity of the crimes you are being accused of." She is wrong about that. Having grown up in Ring City, you know very well what happens to those accused of murder, a gruesome, public execution. You can appeal to her sense of empathy by asking for her help, or you can appeal to her sense of justice by denouncing how you have been treated. Which tactic do you prefer?
All right, I think last time we tried to appeal to her sense of justice, and that was successful.
Ask for help somewhat pitifully. Button.
Let's just do the same thing.
Angrily denounce this injustice. Button. Angrily denounce this. Ask for help somewhat pitifully. Button.
Injustice.
Angrily denounce this injustice. Button. Angrily denounce this injustice. Life. 11. Mana. 8. Gold. 1. Morale. 16. Dim. Morale increases 1. An innocent man would not grovel. I have been accused of murdering my most dear friend. An outrage. Where is your goddess protection for an innocent man? You continue on with this rant for some time, partially because you are outraged, but also because you wish to put on a good show. A guilty man certainly could not rant with such conviction. You reason. Meanwhile, the cleric watches you patiently. When you are done, she asks you to tell her your story from the beginning. You start at the inn where Reginald was murdered, but Marisa asks you to back up further, and so you tell her about your adventures in Castle Inverness, including the goblins, the evil priests, and the shadow beast that rose up from the sacrificial altar. She asks many questions, particularly about when you questioned Siba in the candle shop. After you finish your story, she is quiet for some time. Finally, she asks, "It was Siba who slew Reginald?" Judging by the blood on her, you say, "Not by her own hand, of course. Bewitched or possessed." I questioned her, too, Marisa says. She claims you killed him and that she tried to intervene, hence the blood on her. It is difficult to imagine such a woman doing that. Oh, certainly, she was merely the vessel, the puppet of an evil entity, you exclaim. Could there not be the same explanation for you? What do you remember of the night? I am no weak-willed plaything for evil. Reginald was a brother to me. This, I believe, Marisa says as she stares into your eyes for a long moment. Finally, she waves a hand and says, "But we are all toys of the powerful. To the gods, and lesser beings, too." She turns to leave and then stops. I apologize. The guards here are not as trusting as I am. She walks over and gently stuffs the rag back into your mouth. I will meditate on this and ask for Alathia's guidance, she says, and then leaves. Groaning into the rag, you sink back to the floor. Time ebbs slowly as you lie helpless in the straw. Eventually, you cannot hold it any longer and you urinate in your trousers. Although humiliating, it is a relief and provides some welcome warmth down there. Unfortunately, it is not long before the wet turns against you, chilling your groin and leg. Sounds echo throughout the dungeon. Banging against metal, shouts from other prisoners, and a constant drip from somewhere near. Finally, you hear footsteps coming. You hope that it is Marisa, here to set you free, or at least to provide you with some food and water. Your heart sinks when you see it is a guard stepping into your cell. He holds a lantern and stares down at you with a fixed expression. His face is flecked with blood. He pulls out a long, nasty dagger. Continue. Button. Continue. Life, 11. Mana, 8. Gold, 1. Morale, 16. Dim. Rather than slitting your throat, he cuts the ropes that bind your wrists and legs. Needles stab you as the circulation returns to your extremities. Nevertheless, you stand up unsteadily. Your possessions, he says as he drops a sack at your feet. And this, it will unlock any portal between you and the outside. He hands you a key. You blink in disbelief. I am free then? Found innocent? He shakes his head mechanically. You are free until caught again. And I do not expect you will receive such kind treatment the second time around. Left bound and gagged without food or water was kind treatment, you think to yourself. Well, at least you were not outright hung. Go now, he waves to you and steps aside. What do you do? On the one hand, you are being offered freedom and another chance at life. On the other, you will only be hunted again. And Marisa seemed sympathetic to you. She will not likely help you if you run again.
Well, last time we ran, so I think this time we're going to stay and see what happens.
Escape the dungeon. Button. Stay put. Button. Stay put. Button. Stay. Reward. Super honest. Points. 1. Luck. 1 times 2 bonus equals 2 total. Good for you. How's that working out for you?
Not well. We're probably going to die.
Reward. Super honest. Life. 9. Mana. 8. Gold. 1. Morale. 17. Dimmed. Game stats. Life decreases 2.
Uh-oh.
Morale increases 1. It occurs to you that this guard might be baiting you to escape, giving him or another guard an excuse to kill you without a trial, such as trials go in the city. You shake your head and sit down. This seems to agitate the guard, who begins pacing back and forth muttering, "You should go. Ellipsis. You really should go. Ellipsis." The torches in the hall suddenly dim and you feel something cold nearby. "Run or die, mortal fool," says a chilling whisper near your ear.
Well, it looks like we have to run.
The guard stops pacing and looks around himself as though bewildered. He then sets his eyes on you. "Witchcraft," he shouts as he unsheathes his sword and stabs you. The guard seems disoriented and the thrust was clumsy. Nevertheless, it cuts deep into your flank.
Oh, great. He's been controlled by that demon again.
You run out of the cell, and with an arcane word and a flick of your wrist, the door of the cell slams shut and locks. "No," he yells as he bangs his gauntleted fist against the bars. The torches further down the dungeon hall dim and you see an inky vapor rising up the stairway. You pursue it up the stairs, through the guard room, through another hall. The shadow melts into the front doors of the barracks, and by the time you unbar the doors and step out into the night, it is nowhere to be seen. Where are you, devil? You are not sure what you will do when you find it. Nevertheless, this thing surely killed Reginald, and so you run after it. The door out of the dungeon is locked. Frantically, you pull the key the guard gave you out of your pocket. As soon as the key gets near the keyhole, it begins to vibrate slightly and then the keyblade length and shape morphs. Limundo's master key, you realize with an excited shock. Such a magical key will fit any non-magical lock. The story goes that long ago, Limundo, the great wizard, created such keys for his friends and family, who were instructed to swallow their key if they were ever captured. Of course, over the centuries the keys began falling into unintended hands. The stairs to the dungeon lead up into the guard room. 2 guards are splayed out, face up on the floor, their entrails spilling out in a pool of blood. There are symbols scrawled all over the walls, reminiscent of the symbols you saw near slain Reginald. Navel scat, you whisper in a mixture of surprise and fear. The inky blackness is up ahead, down a hallway. You continue your pursuit until you are outside on the city streets. All is quiet. It must be late, ellipsis, or everyone is dead, you think. You spot the shadow thing traveling down one of the roads, hovering near the ground. It would probably be invisible from this distance, if not for the fact that the street lanterns dim as the thing passes by them. Down the streets you run, stopping now and again to watch for the inky shadow while at the same time trying to keep a healthy distance. You are not sure what kind of senses the thing has. Perhaps outside of a human body it is nearly blind? Possibly, although you think you see eyes at one point, 2 faintly glowing holes in an otherwise inky blackness. Up ahead, there is a man lying on the side of the road, presumably passed out drunk. The thing seeps into him and the man suddenly picks himself up and begins a desperate, limping run. How long can the thing exist outside a body, you wonder? In any case, you are thankful to now have someone solid to keep track of and you follow as stealthily as you can. It is not long before you see a pair of guards up ahead. The guards turn at the sound of the man staggering up behind them. As they do this, the man collapses face first onto the street. The guards laugh and then resume walking. Inky blackness drifts after the guards, stalking them like a nightmare predator. You consider shouting a warning, but it is too late. The thing hovers over one of the guards, collects around him in a phantom embrace, and vanishes into his back. The guard jerks for a moment and his companion looks over at him curiously. You continue to follow at a distance, unsure of whether you should warn the other guard or not. What is the use? You decide. Finally. He would only think me a fool and, far worse, recognize me. The possessed guard points down an alley, urging his companion to lead the way. This cannot be good, you think to yourself. Soon, there is a cry from the alley that is cut short. You hurry to the entrance and look in. The alley is unlit, but the lantern of one of the guards is on the ground, broken, its burning oil spreading. Using a knife, the possessed guard is cutting away on the other one with a practiced motion, much like a butcher slaughtering an animal. His back is to you. What do you do?
All right, we've got to help. Well, we can't do much now. We took too long. So maybe we can kill this ghost and make it come back out of this body.
Attack with dagger, button. Find help, button. Stay hidden and watch, button. Find, attack with dagger.
Let's attack with our dagger. It seems our daggers does some work.
Find help, attack with dagger, button. Attack with dagger. Life, 8, mana, 8, gold, 1, morale, 17, dim. Life decreases 1.
Uh-oh.
You pull out your dagger and creep into the alley. Your boots are not very quiet though, and before you reach the guard, he turns, sees you, and leaps to his feet. You leave me be, he snarls. You lunge forward and stab at him. He steps out of your reach and then kicks you in the side. He has a clear shot at you with his knife, but he doesn't use it. Rather, he punches you in the face, knocking you down. He kicks you on the ground a few times and you think you hear a rib crack. Finally, you roll over and stab him in the knee. The tip lodges in his kneecap and he falls to the ground. You keep stabbing his legs and he keeps kicking you. The shadow then emerges from him like smoke and starts floating off down the alley. Suddenly, the guard begins screaming in pain, holding his sliced up legs. After painfully getting up, you follow after the shadow, trying your best not to be noticed. Along the way, it possesses various people, leaping from one to another as though using them as its relay horses for a speedy journey. Jalap, where are you running to? One woman shouts as her presumed husband sprints away down the street. Despite those being possessed looking like everyone else, you track it more easily, simply following anyone who suddenly starts acting strangely. Finally, a possessed young boy chased by his scolding mother stops short of the Temple of Eternal Love. Faintly, you can see the shimmering shadow leave the child and dissolve into the large double doors of the temple. Is this it, at last? The Fiend's lair? Having grown up in Ring City, you are familiar with all of the great landmarks. However, despite its size and grandeur, little is known about this temple or what goes on inside. In the rare event that members are seen, they seem to materialize out of nowhere, traveling in groups of 4 or more, wearing long yellow robes and smooth purple masks. As far as you know, no one has spotted anyone leaving the place, which has led to the children's story that there is a monster inside that eats all that enter. Given the name of the temple and the closely guarded privacy of its members, most adults believe the temple is merely a cult of promiscuity. Spurred on by this speculation when you were teenagers, you and Reginald had wanted to learn more about this temple and so you had once knocked on the front door. Nothing happened, but you remember an overwhelming feeling of dread. No one, not even city guards, go near it. Now what? I'd be mad to try to go in there after that thing. Ellipsis. You wonder if it would be a good time to get help. If this is the Shadow's lair, and if the temple members are mixed up in the evil events of late, there's bound to be all sorts of wickedness inside for the city authorities to uncover. Should you go see the captain of the guard, Lord Rinley? He will take you into custody, but you know him a little and maybe you could at least convince him to investigate the temple. Or what about Marisa, the cleric? She seems like a devout soldier for good. On the other hand, you know that clerics hesitate to meddle with the followers of other gods. Such behavior, if unjustified, would likely displease her own goddess, Aletheia. What do you do?
So last time we got help and we were killed immediately.
Go it alone. Button.
So we're going to have to do this alone.
Seek help from Seek help from Marisa. Button.
Or we could ask Marisa for some help. She'll probably kill us too.
Seek help from Seek help from Lord Rinley. But go it alone. Button. Seek help from Marisa. Button.
Why don't we try Marisa this time, see if we don't get killed again. But look, we're going to get killed anyway if we seek help from her. Might as well try, right?
Seek help from Marisa. Button. Seek help from Marisa. Life, 8. Mana, 8. Gold, 1. Morale, 17. Dimmed.
No, I don't think anything happened. Good.
The Temple of Aletheia is a tall, vaulted cathedral covered in stained glass. It strikes you as ironic that the goddess of protection has a temple made of such brittle material. Perhaps that is the point. Ellipsis. One is to seek protection through the goddess, not man and his creations. A white-robed priest with a shaven head stands before the front doors and greets you. With your hood up and your head low, you ask to see Marisa. He gazes at you and utters a short prayer, after which he instructs you to remove your shoes. He then leads you into the temple and leaves you in a windowless room with chairs surrounding a round table. You hear the door click after it shuts. You wonder if he means to hand you over to the city authorities. You hold your magical master key out near the door. It vibrates gently, which tells you that you could escape if you wish to. Nevertheless, you decide to wait. It is quite some time before Marisa and the priest walk into the room. Narisa's armor and helmet are wet from the morning drizzle outside. The one you wanted to see, the priest says to the cleric, and then nods at you. It is said that you bought your escape from the dungeon with much blood. And yet, here you are, Marisa says to you. I can explain all, you say. Do then. In response, you look over at the priest. Jalop is a disciple of Aletheia and can be trusted. Speak, Marisa commands. The three of you sit at the table as you tell your story, starting at the point after you and Marisa last spoke. The Temple of Eternal Love has been shrouded from our view since the day it was built 2 centuries ago. It is a good place for a spirit to hide, says Jalop. An evil spirit, you say. The two say nothing for a moment and then Marisa says, you and I shall visit this temple and find out what business this shadow has there.
All right, we trading up from our good friend to a paladin, a priest, excuse me.
You believe me, you ask. I believe you believe. One cannot lie. My help? I believe you believe. One cannot lie easily here. Marisa motions to the room around you. And I have given a great deal of meditation to this matter since we spoke in the dungeon. There is indeed much wickedness brewing in this city, and although you are bound to it somehow, Aletheia prompts me to trust you. Ellipsis. Indeed. Even to ask for your help. My help? Why not send in your warriors of Aletheia or notify the guard? Servants of Aletheia cannot simply march into another temple without very good cause. We do not yet understand the enemy we face, and the temple members may have nothing to do with it, at least not knowingly. Some scouting is necessary. I want to bring you because, from your account, this spirit does not wish to harm you. That could be to our advantage. You look at Marisa. Reginold's murder must be avenged. I will help you. Continue. Button.
All right, let's continue. Good.
Continue. Life, 8. Mana, 8.
So far, we're doing
1.
good.
Morale,
Did
17. Dimmed.
we do something?
All is quiet near the Temple of Eternal Love.
Oh,
Dawn has still not broken.
we might
There is
have
faint light
gotten
coming from some of the
through
higher
that
temple
section.
windows.
Let me see
Although
here.
no movement. Checkpoint reached. We can
Oh,
assume
yeah,
them
we
with
got a
it.
checkpoint.
Marisa whispers.
Let's get
they may not know
our,
what evil lurks in their temple and they are
music
being
for
used
that?
as unwitting shields. I propose we do what is simple and knock on the front door. If they dare lie, Aletheia will tell me.
All right, we reached a new checkpoint, which means we can always continue from here, which is really good. All right, let's listen to that story again.
All is quiet near the temple of it. Checkpoint reached. Life, 8.
Let's
Mana,
check all
8.
our
Gold,
things.
1. Morale, 17. Dimmed. Check. Life, 8. Mana, 8. Gold, 1. Morale, 17. Dimmed.
Okay.
Checkpoint reached. Good job. All is quiet. Checkpoint reached. Good job. All is quiet near the Temple of Eternal Love. Dawn has still not broken. There is faint light coming from some of the higher temple windows, although no movement. From across the street you and Marisa discuss your options. We cannot assume them wicked, Marisa whispers. They may not know what evil lurks in their temple and they are being used as unwitting shields. I propose we do what is simple and knock on the front door. If they dare lie, Aletheia will tell me. Unless theirs is the god of deception, you counter. I think it best we not speak our mind, lest they murder us, and as for the front door, I say we find a more creative entrance. You would have us break in like common thieves? And what if they catch us? What will they do then? You said that we are scouting, you argue. Well, how is knocking on the front door and announcing our quest going to accomplish anything other than to give them fair warning? I did not come here to do my enemy a favor. Marisa sighs. I concede your point. However, it remains that we are not experienced burglars and this is not some barn you wish to break into. Let fate decide, you say as you pull an old copper coin from your pocket. Marisa shrugs and chuckles. A coin toss? Very well. Aletheia has given me no promptings on this matter. Perhaps she will guide your coin. What Marisa does not know is that you know a simple magic spell, little more than a trick really, that enables you to decide what side of the coin comes up. Which do you choose?
Okay.
Knock on the front door. Button. Find a creative way in. Find a creative
Let's
way
find
in.
a creative
Button.
way in. Seems like a better idea.
Find a creative way in. Life, 8. Mana, 8. Gold, 1. Morale, 17. Dimmed. We do it your way then, Marisa whispers when she sees the result of the coin toss. I can ask Alethea to grant us protection from evil possession. However, the protection will only last a few minutes and I can cast it but once per day. You have encountered this evil spirit before. Do you expect it to attack as we approach? It may take some time to get in, and longer still to find the beast. It would be wise to save the spell, you say. Gorgon's ring protects you from the city seers, which has likely kept you free since your escape from the dungeon. You doubt, however, that the ring offers protection against possession. Wards on items are typically very specific. Well, burglar, how shall we enter? Perhaps you could climb the ivy up to one of those balconies? I have a rope you could throw down to me after you make the climb, says Marisa. You carry rope? You do not? I thought you fancied yourself an adventurer, she says with a half smile. And why must I climb? Do I look like a cat to you? You ask. Chivalry, she is frowning now. Ha, you are more a knight than I. Of the two of us, you wear the armor, you protest. Precisely. How can I climb with all this weighing me down? She motions at her body. Well, ellipsis, I have a spell that will allow me to climb like a spider, you say thoughtfully. Although, would they not expect an intruder to enter by the balcony? My guess is that they have taken precautions we cannot see. There might be a door along the side or back walls of the temple. A secret evil cult might want a secret back exit? Marisa shrugs. I see only a smooth wall. If you have a way to find a hidden door, it is worth a try. Otherwise, we will look rather conspicuous running our hands along the temple as though massaging a horse. What do you do?
All right. We both have good points. Climbing the window is our best bet, though probably we could be ambushed.
Look for a secret door. Button. Climb the ivy. Button. Use a spell to climb. Mana 2. Use a spell to climb. Climb the ivy. Button.
Climbing the ivy will be good. We'll save our mana. Let's climb the ivy.
Climb the ivy. Life, 5. Mana, 8. Gold, 1. Morale, 17. Dimmed. Life decreases 3.
Ow.
The vines seem sturdy enough, so you begin climbing up them. When you're about 20 feet in the air, you notice the vines above are a slightly lighter color. You are tired and close to the balcony, so you foolishly keep going. Sure enough, the lighter colored vine shudders under your grip and thorns spring out, slicing your hands. Despite yourself, you cry out in pain as you fall to the ground.
Great.
I suppose the vines would have been too easy, you say as you try to stand, but a sharp pain in your leg prevents you. You moved like an excellent burglar. Ellipsis. Well, until that last bit. Marisa smiles at you as she kneels down and says a prayer. She then lays her hands on your leg, relieving the pain. I am afraid that is about all the favor my goddess will give us this day. We will need to be more careful from now on, she says. You stand up and look around. Everything is quiet.
We're gonna have to use that magic spell.
What do you do now? Use a spell to climb. Mana 2. Button.
Let's climb.
Look for a secret door. Use a spell to climb. Mana 2. Button. Use a spell to climb. Mana 2. Life. 5. Mana. 6. Gold. 1. Morale. 17. Dimmed. Mana decreases 2. Up the bare wall you go. Onto the balcony. You tie a rope to the leg of a statue and toss the other end down. Despite her chainmail, Marisa climbs the rope with ease and so you are unable to tease her. There is a door into the temple from the balcony, which is locked, but your magical key takes care of that. The door opens to darkness. Marisa lights a lantern and enters first. The air stinks of rotting meat. Like the outer wall, the hallway is made of polished granite. The door shuts behind you as though sensing you are inside. With some trepidation, you move forward. Suddenly, there is a snarl, and out of the darkness springs a gray-skinned man with a manacle around his neck with a chain trailing behind. Its body appears to be rotting.
Oh, gross.
WC2Ghoul.jpg. Image. The man, or monster as it were, charges straight at Marisa and tries to grab her. However, she twists out of his grasp. What do you do?
Okay, what are we gonna do?
Burn it with Flammophon. Mana 3. Button.
Burn it with Flamma?
Burn it with Flammophon. Mana 3. Button.
Oh, that's mana.
Burn it with Firebolt. Mana 2. Button. Let Marisa handle it. Button.
She probably can handle it, wasting our freaking mana.
Burn it with. Let Marisa handle it. Button.
She can handle it.
Burn it. Let Marisa handle it. Button. Let Marisa handle it. Life. 5. Mana. 6. Gold. 1. Morale. 17. Dimmed. Marisa seems to have this covered.
Good.
Step back out of its reach. It's on a chain you coach from behind.
Yeah, I'm not about to waste mana. She is fully armored.
She does as you suggest and retreats while batting the thing's claws away with her mace. As you both approach back up to the secret door, the chain goes taut and the thing can no longer pursue. No longer having to fight defensively, Marisa steps forward and starts swinging hard at the creature. It stupidly strains against the chain, and Marisa finally connects with the head of the thing, sending gore against the side wall. The monster falls to the floor and lies motionless. Marisa bashes it on the ground several times, sending more grisly debris all over. I hate ghouls, she says, panting. Is that what that was? Temple of Eternal Love? Navel-scat, there is no love there, you exclaim as you point to the ghoul's body. Is this not grounds for getting reinforcements and storming this place? It does not speak well of this temple, she answers. Not speak well? There lies a monster, raised from the dead, chained up as though a guard dog. Well, our clerics are spread out due to reports of much evil in the city. Since we are in here now, let us take a look around to better understand our enemy. You do not agree with the need for more investigation, however, you grudgingly follow her lead. Marisa finds a door leading out into a torchlit hall. There are voices nearby. The two of you creep along the hall, which leads to a balcony overlooking a large ceremonial chamber. Below are people, or so you presume, wearing long yellow robes and smooth purple masks. Most of them are prostrated before a blood-stained altar. Atop the altar is a woman who is tied and gagged. You recognize the young woman as Siba.
Siba being controlled again.
Oh, Siba, ellipsis, bound and helpless
Here
again.
we go.
You would shake your head in disgust if the situation did not look so dire. For only a few feet above the struggling and crying woman floats the shadow. Its red, blurry and shifting eyes regarding its prey. Now that you have time to better study this phantom in good lighting, you recognize it. The malevolent spirit from Castle Inverness.
Yep, it's free.
Although this phantom has no mouth, you recognize the icy voice that now speaks. You will give me a true body. No longer will I be a guest here. Ellipsis. You will merge me with the soul of one born to this world. Who will make this offering? I will, my lord. One of the figures steps forward and reverently takes off his robe and mask and sets it before the altar. It is a man in gleaming plate mail armor. Baron Tershiu.
Oh.
You look over and meet Narisa's eyes. Evidently, she is just as surprised as you. The congregation begins chanting, swaying, and prostrating themselves before the altar. You do not know these languages well, and so can only understand bits and pieces. However, it appears to be a sacrificial ceremony to the god of the undead, Neril. At one point, the Baron stands up, brings a scroll up and addresses the shadow directly. Unrul Sadith Duarganat Lachinia Walith. Ellipsis. The Baron keeps intoning name after name in Martiv. You look over and meet Narisa's frightened eyes. Obviously, she understands what you just realized, that this shadow is no mere ghost or dark poltergeist, but a demon. It is the structure of the name that gives it away. A litany of names really. The first denoting the demon, the second name that of the demon's master in the abyss, and then its master's master on and on up to the supreme demon lord. Finally, the Baron finishes the full name of the beast and says, "We invite you to join our world." He then points to Siba on the altar. "We offer this flesh. We ask you to join the soul within, to bond to our world until the end of time." Having finished this intonation, the Baron climbs the dais, picks up a jewel-encrusted dagger, cuts Siba's bare thigh, puts the dagger back on the altar, and begins licking and sucking at the wound. Another member of the congregation steps forward and removes mask and robe to reveal a nude woman who you recognize as the wife of a wealthy local merchant. Tattooed on her back is the mark of Neril. She picks up the dagger, cuts Siba's arm, and begins sucking the wound. Another member, a guild master of much repute, disrobes to reveal Neril's mark on his naked body as well. He follows the same ritual as the others. Ceremony.jpg. Image.
Ew. Gross. We gotta save Siba before she gets many more bad things happening to her.
Perhaps the children of Neril and the Temple of Eternal Love are one and the same, you wonder. The sucklers interrupt their feeding from time to time in order to dab some blood on their fingers and finger paint symbols on and around the altar. Meanwhile, Siba struggles against her bonds and cries into her gag. Murderous villains, Narissa yells. The ritual stops and the entire congregation looks up.
Okay, not the time. We should have gotten help before you decided to open your mouth.
Apparently, Narissa could not stand by and watch this woman be bled to death. You respect her courage and morality, but not so much her tactical instincts. The demon's red eyes fix on the two of you. Narissa says a short prayer and puts a hand on your shoulder. Tingling spreads throughout your body. Stay near me and you will be protected by Elathia, she tells you. The demon streaks toward you at a terrific speed, but stops several feet away as though he had struck a wall. I am your vessel, my lord, the Baron proclaims up to the demon with outstretched arms. The shadow dives down into the Baron's armored body. Immediately, the Baron glares up at you and shouts, "Bring them to me." The Baron then leaps onto the wall and begins climbing toward you like a spider. Why do we stand here? Run, you shut Narissa. Cover the exits below. I will guard those above, shouts the demon-possessed Baron. The two of you dash toward the way you came in, but you can hear many footsteps coming from that direction. They have cut you off, without thought to where you're going. You run together down a long hallway with many doors. Your pursuers are not in sight, but you can hear their shouts all around. What do you do?
Well, I don't know.
Hide in one of the rooms. Button. Find a way out now. Button. Vertical scroll bar. Find a way out now.
I think it's best to find a way out, though we're cut off. So let's just hide. It's counterintuitive, but I think hiding is the best thing for now. And let's see what happens. Either way, we're going to lose something.
Find a way out now. Button. Hide in one of the rooms.
Let's hide for
Button.
now.
Hide in one of the rooms. Life, 5. Mana, 6. Gold, 1. Morale, 17. Dimmed. Let us hide in one of these rooms, you say, pointing at a nearby door. The two of you enter what appears to be a storage room for food and other supplies. There are sacks of grain and crates piled up along the walls. You both squeeze behind a wall of crates and wait. The two of you barely breathe as you listen to the sound of boots running back and forth. At one point, you hear the door open and someone walk in. They quickly leave. A few minutes later, you hear, "Set them loose," shouted from somewhere. Set what loose? You ask Narissa in a whisper. She shrugs. In any case, not if they think, she shrugs. In any case, we will need to attempt an escape. Eventually, they shall search more thoroughly, room by room. Not if they think we have already escaped the temple and are searching the city. You respond. What do you do?
Maybe we can do an illusion or something.
Make a break for it. Button. Stay hidden a bit longer. Button. Stay hidden a bit longer. Make a break for it. Button.
Let's hide a little bit longer.
Stay hidden a bit longer. Button. Stay hidden a bit longer. Life 0 mana 6
Oh,
gold 1
we
morale
lost.
17.
I think we lost. No.
Life decreases 5.
Oh.
The two of you remain behind the crates for several minutes. Finally, when all is quiet, you leave your hiding place, creep to the door, and open it a crack. All is clear, but just as you are about to open the door, you see a dark shape at the far end of the hall swaying back and forth.
Great.
Ellipsis, and two more behind it. You are about to shut the door when the one in front steps out into the light of the hall torchlight to reveal bloodshot eyes and gray, peeling skin.
We should have got out. Then, of course, we didn't know.
Ghouls, that is what was set free to sniff out the living.
Oh, we should have got out while we had the chance. We didn't know.
You try to shut the door silently, but just as it closes, you hear snarls and the rushing of feet. You step back just before the locked door bursts open. These undead are strong with their lust for flesh.
I think we're gonna get eaten.
Marisa steps forward with her holy symbol in one hand and her mace in the other, praying for Alathia's aid. Suddenly, her mace flares into a ball of white light. The first ghoul through shrieks and hurls itself at Marisa. She bashes her blessed mace into its chest, ripping it nearly in half. Other ghouls rush in and before you know it, you're on the ground. A ghoul on top of you that rips a large chunk of flesh out of your shoulder with its teeth.
Why aren't we using our magic?
Alice, you finally succumb to your wounds and collapse. Skullsandsmoke.jpg. Image.
Well, we could have used some of our magic to help Marisa.
Start over. Button.
Oh, goodness.
Last checkpoint. Button.
Let's go to the last checkpoint.
Last checkpoint. Life 8, mana 8, gold 1, morale 17, dimmed. All is quiet near the Temple of Eternal Love. Dawn has still
All
not
right.
broken. There is faint light. Life 8, mana
All
8,
right.
gold 1, morale 17, dimmed.
These are really
Game
kind
stats.
of really tricky right here. It's really hard to tell when is the best time. Just trial and error. So for now, we're going to go ahead and stop right here. I'm having a lot of fun with the game. Again, it's tricky. We did unlock achievement. We did get to a new checkpoint. So we do have more chances to get through this story, and we have a good ally. So, but for now, we're going to go ahead and take a little break. We'll come back again. I'll try to play medieval fantasy, or it was called D&D Story RPG Choices game. Its title has changed, so I'm sorry. I just do the best I can, folks. But we'll come back and play some more soon. But for now, we're going to go ahead and take a break. I've got some things I got to get done today, but definitely we'll come back and play some more. I do like this game. It is really fun, and hope you guys are enjoying it also. You can check out my description to find the link. And thank you to MyNoise for the sounds. And I appreciate all of you, and I will hear you soon. So take care.